He's on. Good evening and welcome to the Monday, November 10th Maplewood City Council meeting. I normally start off with something that's happening in the city, and I found that there are so many wonderful things that are happening in the city, I couldn't land on just one thing. If you want to see something really fun, go back and watch our workshop. We just swore in 2 new police sergeants. At our last meeting, we just retired a police dog. Council's already looking forward to the new dog that we know will be coming. So there are lots of wonderful things, and I couldn't just land on one thing tonight. So we're going to move on to our Pledge of Allegiance, and you know what? We have some Boy Scouts here that have been so gracious to help us with our Pledge of Allegiance. So I am going to ask them if they will come up to the microphone up here. Come on, guys. And if you could please, before we start the Pledge of Allegiance, could you please say your name into the microphone so we get all that down? Go ahead.
My name is Jake Henslin.
My name is Joe Boros.
I'm James Williams.
My name is Connor Reinholz.
My name is Theo McLaughlin.
Thank you, gentlemen. We really appreciate it. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. You want to lead us, please?
To the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Your names will be reported in our formal minutes for our next meeting. And you can tune in tomorrow, like I said, and you can see yourselves on the video replay. Thank you. I always really appreciate when we have young people in the audience. Local government is really, really important, and the more that we can engage our youth in local government, I think it's better for everybody. So thank you. You guys are all rock stars. You did a great job for us. City Clerk Sint, do you want to do our roll call, please?
Councilmember Lee.
Present.
Councilmember Villavicencio.
Here.
Councilmember Cave.
Here.
Councilmember Juniman.
Here.
Mayor Abrams.
I am here as well. Council members, is there a motion to approve our agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Cave and seconded by Juniman. The motion to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Sable.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. I would request that consent item G4, A through D, be returned to staff. There are a couple of formatting things that we want to change, and I'll also just forecast that we anticipate to having 2 more agreements on the next meeting. So it will be these same items with some formatting changes and then 2 additional ones that you'll be up for consideration at the meeting on the 24th.
Okay, thank you. And Council Member Juniman.
Under council presentations, a public service announcement about trash and recycling cans.
Service announcement. Okay, anything else? Seeing none, then all those in favor signify with those changes. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, we have the approval of the October 27th City Council meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Any further discussion? We need to make one change. Oh. Okay. Go ahead, you can do it, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I was not city manager that day. It was acting city manager Mike Darrow was there. I was with you in spirit, not in person.
You sure?
Conference, thank you. So page 2, that would be changing F1. Assistant City Manager Darrow gave an update instead of Mr. Sable. And I think that was the only other one that I saw. Okay, with that, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, we have administrative presentations. Council calendar update, Mr. Sable.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Just a couple of items. This is, we are down to 3 meetings left for the calendar year 2024, which is astonishing and hard to believe. We will continue with our budget presentations at our next meeting. You'll be able to see things from Information Technology, Public Works, and Community Development. This is that continued effort to see the details of the budget requests that are coming forward, which is a preview for the meeting on December 8th, which is the adoption of the 2026 budget, and then the Truth and Taxation hearing that we will also hold. And then, believe it or not, we're planning for January already. So first meeting of 2026 will be January 12th. Something I want to put on your radar is we are going to continue our new tradition of having a legislative breakfast where we can meet with our local state officials and county officials to talk about our legislative needs, because the legislative session is quickly upon us. Just 2 other items. There was a special election, Senate District 47. Amanda Hemmingson Yeager is the newly elected state senator representing South Maplewood. There will be, I presume, a special election to be called for that district, but that will be called by the governor. So we will be prepared when called upon should that happen. And then just a reminder for the public, tomorrow is Veterans Day. Our city offices are closed. And a thank you and appreciation to veterans in the community, and particularly among the staff. And then there's the Rice Lardner Winter Warm-Up on Saturday, December 13th. And now that we have children in the audience, December 20th is the Santa Parade from 9 to 1, which is always, if you've not seen fire trucks racing through with Santa Claus, it's one of the great traditions in Maplewood. So look forward to that. And with that, Mayor, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. And don't forget the Grinch hanging on to that fire truck either. That's a pretty good sight. Any questions for Mr. Sable? Okay, moving on to council presentations. Councilmember Juniman.
Well, winter is apparently coming fairly soon. It's sort of made a brief appearance this past weekend, but it's the time of year when snowplows will probably be coming to our neighborhoods, and I think they would appreciate it if we put our trash cans and our recycling cans up on the curb, not in the street. When they come roaring through at 4 o'clock in the morning to get you out to work, I don't think they want to hit a whole line of trash cans. So please put your trash and recycling cans up on the curb. It's winter.
Soon. Thank you for that reminder. All right, the next agenda item, we have a resolution of appreciation for Sue Vento. Is Sue here? Sue Vento was our former Met Council representative for Maplewood, and she did an absolutely remarkable job. I believe that she was going to be here. We were expecting her, and I really would like to give this to her in person. So in terms of what do we need to do procedurally to hold this over? I'm looking to our city attorney. Okay. We need to make a motion to table this until Sue could be here. I think it's important. Sue has had a life of public service, and she has done amazing things for Maplewood. She put in hours and hours and hours of time. I saw her at many meetings and many Zoom meetings, and she always was so helpful representing us on the Met Council. So is there a motion to table it?
Motion to approve, to table F3 until our distinguished guest arrives.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Villavicencio, the motion to table
It's a
this.
choral response, actually, but
I just did a,
What?
that's all I got out, second.
Until our distinguished guest can arrive. Hopefully, it will be tonight. If not, we'll put it on for another one. There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so that is tabled. Moving on to the consent agenda. We now are looking at consent agenda items G1 through 4, and then 5 through 7.
I move consent agenda items G 1 through 3 and 5 through 7.
second.
Oh, you're right, 1 through 3, thank you. Moved by Cave, seconded by Juniman. Consent agenda items G 1 through 3, and then 5 through 7. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, we have on our agenda a public hearing, a special assessment of abatement costs for 1830 Howard Street North. Ms. Parr, this is your topic. We need that clicker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Sorry for the delay there. As you can see on the overhead, 1830 Howard Street North is the site we're talking about. It's been a while since we talked about this, so I want to give a little bit of a reminder about this site. I think it'll come back quickly to you if you don't recall it. It's located south of Holloway Avenue East, west of Ignite Road, and on the east side of Howard Street, as you can see on the overhead there. Just show you a few pictures, and I think it'll all come back quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. You know, unfortunately or fortunately, we've had a number of these that have come before you, and we've been moving forward on each of these, so they probably run into each other. And I'm glad to say this one is gone. So there was nothing to show you other than a vacant, restored piece of property now. Just to remind you of the history, after receiving an administrative warrant to enter the property, staff executed the warrant and inspected the structure and the surrounding yard on January 11th of 24. The pictures you saw were from January 11th of 24. On February 12th, the City Council determined the property was hazardous and a public nuisance. And then after legal proceedings in Ramsey County, we were authorized to remove that structure and restore it. We brought in a contractor who did that work. Now we are bringing it back before you. We are required statutorily to have a public hearing, and that's why it's back before you. And the point of that is to be able to make ourselves, the taxpayers, whole for the costs we paid to cover the expenses that should have been borne by the property owner, but was unable to for mixed circumstances. Each one of these is a little bit different. So this evening, we're asking the council to open the public hearing, shut the public hearing if you find it appropriate, and if so, adopt the resolution for the assessment related to the cost of abating the hazardous nuisance conditions. As you can see from your staff report, it was for a total of $41,656.65. There's also that 5.5% interest that, depending on how that works out and how quickly it's paid, comes into play. And then separate from this matter this evening, we also have the right to ask for legal fees and administrative fees. We have to go to the district court judge to basically ask for that in separate proceedings once we've concluded the first part of this, because we continue to need our legal assistance up to this point. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Madam Mayor, members of the council, to open the public hearing if you find it appropriate.
First, let's see if there are any questions. My question, according to the staff report, you are intending on seeking administrative fees, correct?
Madam Mayor, yes, we are.
Okay, thank you very much. Council members, any other questions? Okay, then what's going to happen is I'm going to open up the public hearing. If there is anyone who would like to speak concerning the assessment related to the costs of abating hazardous and nuisance conditions at 1830 Howard Street North, once I gavel open the meeting, you'll have an opportunity to come forward. Our city clerk will have a clock up. You'll have 3 minutes to present anything that you would like the council to know before we have a discussion concerning this topic. So I am going to open up the public hearing. The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone who would like to speak at the public hearing concerning the resolution adopting assessment related to the cost of abating hazardous and nuisance conditions at 1830 Howard Street North? Did any, City Clerk, did anyone sign up to speak?
Madam Mayor, no one did sign up.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this issue? Okay, hearing none, then I am going to close the public hearing. And council members, this is our opportunity for any discussion or to make that motion. Any questions? Would someone like to make the motion concerning the assessment?
I move the resolution adopting the assessment in the amount of $41,656.65 to the cost of abating hazardous and nuisance conditions at 1830 Howard Street North.
Second.
Moved by Juniman, seconded by Cave, the motion as written in our packet. Is there any further discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's the voice here. I just wanted to interject. One more piece I wanted to add, and that is, we were notified recently by the county that their template for the resolution was slightly tweaked. The content has really not changed, but the layout more so. On the second page, basically 1 through 3 or 1 through 4, depending on which you're looking at your dais, we put the highlighted second page of the resolution, which just has a slightly different format. Like I say, the content's the same, but I just want to make sure when you approve that you were including that as well. Sorry for the
Thank you
interruption.
very much. Now I recall that you gave this to us. Thank you. So council members, we need to slightly amend that motion. Would someone like to amend the motion to include the highlighted format recommended by the county? A friendly amendment.
Friendly amendment to include the recommended language from the county.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Cave, the friendly amendment. We'll vote on the friendly amendment first, correct? Thank you. All those in favor of the friendly amendment, so that we are using the correct county form, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, now on the general voting on the motion. This is the correct procedure, correct? It's good that we've got staff. Yes. Thank you. Good. Keeps us going. So the original motion concerning the assessment related to the cost of abating the hazardous nuisance conditions located at 1830 Howard Street North, that's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. A little roundabout, but we got there.
Thank you.
Got it all covered. Thank you. Moving on to unfinished business. We have yet another budget presentation. Chief Beardeman, this is your topic tonight. Budget for the police department.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. And I just want to start by thanking you for the opportunity to present the budget overview tonight. I'm excited to let you guys know some of the interesting things we're doing and kind of what we're looking for in the future. And so just want to start out by saying tonight's presentation isn't just about numbers. It's about strategy, sustainability, and our commitment to the people we serve, as well as the staff who serve them. To me, this isn't a budget update as much as it is a progress report on how we have stabilized, redefined what it means to serve a growing, diverse community. This last year has truly been transformational for us. And I'm excited to share some of these accomplishments we've had, and these accomplishments didn't happen by chance. They were the result of strategic planning, leadership, cross-department collaboration, and a clear vision, ensuring that Maplewood's approach to public safety remains sustainable, forward-looking, as well as community-driven. Just so you're aware, at the beginning of each year, I have a department motto that I bring to staff. I refer to this as my call to action. In 2024, the call to action was to raise the bar, and we did. This year, our department focus was driven to serve and built to lead. I believe this captures our 2025 mission perfectly, built on service, guided by integrity, and committed to leadership. I'm just going to walk you through the organizational chart really quick here. There aren't a ton of changes that will be likely happening next year, but in a given year, Maplewood the police department responds to 36,000 calls for service. It's probably going to be around 37 to 38,000 calls for service. The year isn't done yet, but historically it's around 36,000. One change you'll see, and you'll also get this highlighted at the next council meeting when IT talks, but PD typically and historically for the last 8 years has had a public safety IT member as part of the police department. That is going to change likely next year. That IT member has gone back into the IT basket, as you can say, and not specifically the police department. But the funding for that FTE still stayed with the police department. So following Bostrom's staffing recommendations, we've hired an evidence and records technician. They'll be able to backfill some of the record responsibilities when people are out. They'll also be able to help our property evidence technician. And so this person's really versatile and can move in and out of those 3 separate incidents where right now if our property evidence technician were to get sick or be on vacation, there's 0 people that can backfill him. So this will really help us sustain that position that's so important. So again, that'll be discussed a little bit later in this, but just so you're aware of that. Also, the addition of 1 administrative sergeant, which was also part of the recommendation from the Bostrom study. And our current staffing is 56. With that additional sergeant, we're asking for 1 extra FTE line item, which would be 56 sworn, which again was that recommendation. It says 2 social workers there under the top where it says 56. We are authorized 2 from the county. We don't pay for those, the county does. We are working on that second one. I just wanted to let you guys know that currently we have 1 embedded social worker, but we are authorized for 2. And just finally, for this slide, just, you can see all the different people on there, and I just want to make a point that everybody in this chart, no matter where they are on the chart, plays a very vital role in the department. And, we've really narrowed it down to the point where if we were to miss any of these individuals, it would really affect our operation, our ability to do what we do. So every single person plays a vital role. Everybody is essential to our organization's success. This is our police department key initiatives. I'm going to spend the majority of my time on this page. This slide really captures the essence of who we are as a police department. These 9 initiatives define what we value, what we've achieved, and how we continue to grow the department. At the center of it all is people, performance, and partnerships. That's really the cornerstone of the agency. So everything we look at for these 9 initiatives goes through the lens of those 3 things. And this very clearly aligns with the City of Maplewood's key pillars of exceptional service, a culture that supports and empowers others, and building strong relationships. So there's a connection there kind of under that same umbrella that really makes sense for us, and it's easy. As far as people, police department's people are really the foundation of everything we do. We don't build roads, we don't do a lot of things that other department heads do, but we have lots of people, and the people do things, and so really that's the important foundation of what we have. This year, we hired 7 new officers, 3 new CSOs, and 2 sergeants were sworn in tonight, as we all saw. We made sustainability within our workforce a top priority, ensuring that every hire aligns with the culture, mission, and future of our department. We really need the right people, which creates the right department. Our belief is we don't just recruit people, we invest in them. We do this through mentorship, leadership, development, and a strong wellness focus that sustains our team for the long term. If we have officers going out on PTSD claims or things of that nature, it's just a cycle that never ends. So we're really trying to focus on that public safety health aspect of it. Performance is about measurable outcomes and accountability. Last year, we implemented Guardian Tracking, a performance and wellness tool that promotes real-time feedback, recognition, and early intervention for our staff. We also expanded after-action reviews, helping officers learn from every critical event, and those lessons are making us safer and more effective. The League of Minnesota Cities is now studying our after-action reviews for their correlation with fewer injuries and claims. They're also implementing this as potential best practices for other Minnesota Police Department agencies. As far as partnership, the MPD is stronger because we collaborate. From the BCA Violent Crime Unit, which is housed within the City of Maplewood, that's a great song, to partnerships with District 622, and collaboration really drives our results. Our partnership with fire, EMS, and neighboring cities have also strengthened our ability to respond regionally, a perfect example of resource sharing that enhances safety and efficiencies. Our community partners extend beyond law enforcement. We have the Multicultural Advisory Committee, and we have a collaboration with healthcare and senior organizations to include safety programming. Public safety is no longer just an individual department. It's a network of partnerships working towards shared goals. For transparency, transparency means a cornerstone of our credibility. We completed 2 major audits in 2025. One was a body camera audit and also a juvenile justice compliant audit, both of which resulted in 0 negative findings, which typically they'll find something small and have us correct it or flag it, and we've got back 0 negative findings, so we passed with flying colors on those. Big shout out to our lieutenant in the administration who really controls those and has really narrowed those down in the last couple of years. So he's gotten really good at them. We continue to release our annual transparency report highlighting use of force data, compliant resolutions, and community engagement metrics. The level of openness and transparency we provide is not seen in a lot of agencies throughout the state of Minnesota or the United States. I believe this builds community confidence and helps the public see how we hold ourselves accountable. Maple Police Department continues to set the bar with innovation. 2025 was really no exception to that. Our flock camera safety network, consisting of 20 cameras citywide, will go live in the next couple of months and will transform how we investigate as well as deter crime. We're really excited for that to come about. We've expanded our UAV drone program with advanced FAA authorization, in which we can now fly beyond line of sight, which sounds really fancy, and I pretend to understand what that is, but basically you can fly the drone now without having to see it, and you can use different things like cell signals to go 10, 15 miles away from where you're standing, where current line of sight, you have to see the drone. And we also have Celebrite Digital Forensics and Clearview AI that are now in-house. Before we had to go out-of-house for it, waiting 5 to 6 months for a cell phone dump to come back. Now we can do that in the next day or two. So it's really sped up our investigations. These investments aren't just about technology. They're about staying proactive, data-informed, and future-ready. Leadership development is intentional in Maplewood. This year, our command staff completed the FBI LEADA Leadership Trilogy, earning a national recognition for excellence. Our crime analyst was nominated for Rookie Crime Analyst of the Year, and we're waiting for the results of that. This recognition really highlights both her individual talent and Maplewood's growing reputation as a data-driven agency. We've added an administrative sergeant role to strengthen supervision and mentor in success planning. And our philosophy is very simple. Every officer is a leader, and there's leaders on every level. I want to touch a bit on officer wellness, which is a passion of mine. Our wellness initiatives are foundational. They're not just a program. In the police profession, officers enter the job in the prime of their lives, and within 20 short years, they leave the profession with higher levels of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, stress, and a lifespan 22 years less than the average American. This stat does not take into account one of the highest suicide rates of any profession. It is for these reasons that I am so passionate about officer wellness. And we are working hard to reverse this trend in Maplewood, and we're seeing very promising results. Every employee has the opportunity for multiple mental health check-ins throughout the year. We've incorporated cardiac health testing, physical fitness support, and dietary coaching. We've also begun exploring ways to integrate a dedicated wellness space within our facility. And for me, it's not about programs as much as it is about a culture change and a shift. And again, I think we're working very hard on that, and we're, I believe, regional leaders in that. Community engagement is one of these key initiatives, and I won't spend a lot of time on that because I have a slide later about that. So we'll move on. But just to put a bow on this slide, these 9 initiatives really, truly define our identity. We're people-centered, data-driven, and we're partner-oriented. The next slide will really highlight how the budget strategically is used to support some of these initiatives. So this is the budget sheet that you've seen other departments bring as well. And so just to summarize this, my budget philosophy is very simple. We invest in people, we enhance performance, and we foster partnerships. Salary, wages, benefits, and internal charges are the most significant impacts as you've seen throughout the departments and department heads. But I just want to touch on one thing. One thing I'm particularly proud of is how we manage our supplies and materials. It's one of the few things that we can truly control internally. In a time when costs are rising across every sector, we took a hard, honest look at our operations, streamlined purchases, and eliminated redundancies. As a result, we reduced supply expenses by 2%. And although this doesn't seem like a very big amount given the size of the budget, I think it truly speaks and reflects to the disciplined approach that we have in the police department, one that ensures every dollar that we request is both needed and justified. This is the the slide about budgetal changes. So most of our budget, as you know, is people, and that is by design. This budget proposal only has 2 targeted staffing moves, both of which were recommended on that staffing study, and I touched on it earlier. The first one was the addition to the administrative sergeant, and the other one was the evidence records technician. The administrative sergeant was a line item FTE addition. And as mentioned earlier, the evidence records tech was gained through a restructure, not the addition of an FTE, so it's about as close to a cost neutral you can get for the police department. We actually save a little money on that, but we can just call it cost neutral. We also asked for a modest increase, $10,000 in training, just to continue with our leadership development. Innovation isn't just about technology. It's about finding innovative ways to save money and go beyond what the budget can support. I'm proud to say that 2025 revenue, we've estimated $966,414.91. We achieved this through effective grant management, strategic partnerships, proactive engagement with state and local programs, as well as partnerships with local businesses, some of which are listed on the slide. These revenue streams allow us to effectively operate outside our given budget, increasing our capacity by nearly 10%. So when you look at some of the things we're doing there as far as Towards Zero Death and our school resource officer and the traffic safety officer, this is allowing us to do things above and beyond, far above and beyond what we can currently do basically for free and getting that staffing back. So we have a school liaison officer that's mentoring and teaching kids. We have a traffic safety officer that's focusing on DUIs and public safety stops that we normally would not be able to fund just that officer to just do those things. So it's really been a great way, an innovative way to get resources, and we find it very effective. Now, I hesitate to do this slide because stats on crime can be manipulated, they can be changed. There's a lot of things out of your control when you talk about crime stats, and there's some things that are in your control. However, I think appropriate for this presentation, because if you take a far enough look back, we went back 4 years here, you can start seeing trends. So it's not a year to year, but this is more of a trend for the last 4 years. And over the past 4 years, Maplewood has seen continued progress despite the regional challenges. So out of those categories on the right side, we've seen a 49% decrease from 2022. As you recall, likely, a mere 4 years ago, Maplewood per capita was the highest auto theft and theft from auto rate, just behind Minneapolis and St. Paul. So we're number 3 per capita. Now our grant-funded auto theft detectives not only lead the metro, but also rank amongst the highest clearance rate in the nation, recovering vehicles, dismantling organized crime groups, and reducing repeat offenses. So if you look at the highlighted spots on the top right, auto theft from auto, 686 down to 211, and 287 down to 102, 69% decrease and 64% decrease. That's pretty remarkable what those two auto theft detectives are doing. Their rates as far as their abilities to identify who stole the car or who stole the property and submit charges, so not necessarily whether they were found guilty or not, but submit a name to the county attorney for charges, is around 60%. In the nation, it's around 5 to 10%. So their ability to do this is really, really impressive, and it's, I think, part of the reason that I really wanted to highlight this slide. Our crime analyst is also helping us with this data in action. She supports operations, investigations, resource deployment, and I'm really looking forward to the flock camera network when it comes fully online. That's really going to be a game changer as well. We've seen with other agencies how much they've been able to identify criminals and bring them to justice. So our focus overall is not about reacting to crime, it's really preventing crime through data, teamwork, and innovation. This slide summarizes a year of tremendous achievements for us, operationally, technologically, and culturally, and I've covered some of these already, so although I do have talking points for each of these, I can skip through some of that and just hit the ones I haven't already talked about. But the technology enhancements, you guys all authorized the mobile command van, I believe 2 years ago, and then that became functional last year. And I knew we would use it. It's in the top right there in the photo. I knew we would use it, and I knew it would be an asset, but to the extent that it is now, I did not fully understand that. So this thing is used multiple times a week. It's used to deploy drones. It's used for other agencies, assisting other agencies. It's used for crime scenes. It's used for a host of things that we didn't even think we'd use it for, to include community outreach. We received calls from other departments around the nation as well as locally to get the specs on it. They want to see it. They've flown in to check it out. And so it's kind of it's almost embarrassing to call it a van because it's so much more than a van. But people want to come see the van and they want to rebuild it and learn from what we did. So we really spent a lot of time on the front end of this. We didn't build the plane while it was flying, but we built the plane first, figured out what we wanted, and then flew it. So we're really proud of it. It just shows, again, leading the region in something that we thought we'd use, but never to this extent. So it's been great. Recognition, so Maplewood earned the FBI Lead Award that I mentioned earlier. We completed our first staffing study last year in the history of the department, and we also hit performance benchmarks that position us as a model agency for others. And again, I mentioned the League of Minnesota is looking at that. And then finally, at the time when recruitment and retention have never been more challenging in the profession, as you know, we have never settled, and we have taken our time really looking at people and getting the right people in the right positions and the right seat on the bus, and not just hiring anybody that applied in Maplewood. We've been tough. It's tough to get people in. We want only the good people. And so if I had drums, I'd do a drum roll, but I can report to you tonight that the first time since 2010, Maplewood Police, as of tonight, are fully staffed. Very impressive. We've worked hard on that in the last 4 years. 4 years ago, we were down 12. So
Congratulations.
thank you. This is our community engagement slide. Community engagement continues to be the bridge that connects our department to our residents. Last year, this is just police now, it's not just public safety. Police staff only did 2,000 hours of outreach and had over 100 events, which we partnered with fire and other departments. And so we continue to do a lot of events. Our signature programs continue to grow, from youth safety camps, Weaver Book Club, Trunk or Treat, senior safety seminars, and Angel Tree is just some of the list on the left there. Santa Parade that you mentioned tonight, Mayor, putt-putt, fishing with friends, and then our multicultural advisory committee. So this is just a small list of the large amount of events that we throw every year, and it continues to be a cornerstone of our department. And I couldn't talk about community outreach events without talking about some of our swag giveaways. So not only are we making connections with the community, but we're also giving back to the community in the form of 2,600 stickers, 1,000 soccer balls, 200 Frisbees. Officers did 1,000 Valentine's Day handwritten cards. We raised $940 for Special Olympics. 1,000 Easter eggs were handed out. 1,000 pounds of candy were given away. 100 bikes, and we sponsored 100 students and seniors with gift cards with gifts for the holiday Angel Tree program, which will be coming up again very shortly. So, and I also want to mention that we've collaborated with Parks, Fire, Community Development, and Communications, and we're really leading the way to what I call the One Maplewood approach, where we all really lean into community outreach and do a lot of these things. So, very impressed with that, and we'll do a shout out to Barb because she's the one that coordinates these 100 events. So, kind of looking to the future and where we're going to be next year, we look forward and we look towards 2026. My focus remains very clear: to sustain, innovate, and to lead. We'll continue implementing staffing study recommendations to align resources with demand. We will continue to work on the expansion of the East Metro Public Safety Training Facility. We'll continue investing in wellness and leadership because healthy, supported employees perform at their best. Technology will continue to remain a focus. We'll expand community engagement, exploring creative and innovative ways to connect residents to public safety. And we'll continue being transparent, publish our data, and maintain the public trust that defines our success. We're proud of how far we've come, but the goal will always be higher. We will continue to push the boundaries of what excellence is in public safety and what that can really look like. In closing, Madam Mayor and council members, 2025 was a defining year for the Maplewood Police Department. We've stabilized staffing, modernized operations, deepened transparency, and strengthened the connection between officers and the community. Through careful budgeting and collaboration, we've achieved operational excellence while staying true to the city's mission: to sustainably provide for the health, safety, and quality of life of all the residents. The Maplewood Police Department stands ready for the future, strong in people, strong in performance, and strong in partnerships. I want to thank you for your trust, partnership, and continued support with our mission.
Oh, very cool.
And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you for that last little flurry there. That was very nice.
I had to
Chief,
put
thank you for that. You're right, it was more than just the numbers. It really was a very telling story of our Public Safety Department and what it is that you all do for our community. So thank you for that excellent report. Councilmember Cave.
Just a comment. Thank you. To reiterate what the mayor said, thank you. This was a way more impressive report than I was expecting. The staffing alone, what you did with the auto theft, I think that was a crazy data that came last year, and I think that hit us all, that we were the #1, city in the state that had all those, and you just took it and ran with it and changed that around. And how impressive. I mean, that's what it shows, what you do for this community. And you not only employ people that feel for this community, you give them the tools for it, and they go out there, and people love our police officers. You know, they're part of the community, they've made themselves embedded in it, and all the work you guys do really, it pays off. And I'm impressed, and I'm proud to be part of Maplewood with the public safety department that you guys have put together.
Thank you, Councilmember Cave.
Councilmember Villavicencio.
I have a couple of questions. My first one is, you said there's 1 out of 2 social workers filled at this moment. Are you seeking to fill that other one?
We have been interviewing and seeking. It's just a matter of the county presenting us with a couple options. So the wheels of the county move very slowly, I guess, in the nicest way to say it. So we're working on getting a couple people in front of us to see who we're going to pick. But the opportunity to take a second one is coming up shortly, I believe.
And the other question I had was about the crime van. You mentioned that there's other cities that use it. Is that considered part of our mutual aid? Do they give us money to be able to use that? How does that work?
That's a great question, Councilmember. I'll be a little more clear. They don't actually physically take control of it and use it. We use it in a mutual aid situation. So you can imagine the SWAT team is in Roseville with a barricade suspect, and they're asking for Maplewood's assistance with some of our supervisors. We will bring the van. We retain control of the van. We run all operations within it, but they'll come in the van and assist. It's kind of a coordinated effort. So we don't lend it out to people. We don't borrow it. So there's no reason to seek reimbursement for it, but it's used throughout the metro in mutual aid, situations. Yeah.
Anything else, Mr. Sable?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I just want to thank Public Safety Director Beardeman. When we had this conversation earlier, he says, well, I'm going to do a short one. And I said, well, I think you have a really compelling story. I talk about this all the time. We're the second largest city in Ramsey County. And I can, right, St. Paul might be bigger, but I don't think there is anyone that is better. Agree. And I think that the commitment and the passion and the debate and the dialogue that is so rich, nothing is just, an idea gets tested and argued and debated and refined until we know that it works. And I appreciate the partnership that you and I have in making this happen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. No other lights tonight? We appreciate it. Moving on, we have the award of the 2026 charitable gambling funds. That was the most protracted decision-making over $60,000, I think, that we've ever had for charitable gambling. Mr. Sable, this is your topic.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I appreciate that comment because it was a long process, but I think ultimately a good one. Led to several rounds of deliberation for the council to make some charitable gambling awards. So for the benefit of the public, whenever there are pull tab operations, they are required to give the city 10% of their proceeds, and then the city council can then give it out to local groups. The city council decided to award $20,000 for environmental and natural resource safety programs, $20,000 towards social supports and senior citizen services, and $20,000 for youth programs and community engagement and events. We received 33 applications requesting more than $225,000 in asks. As the mayor noted, we had a budgeted amount of $60,000, and so through a process to kind of cull that down to a more manageable number. And so what you have before you is a motion to approve charitable gambling awards for 2026 as outlined in your packet. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. One of the things that I think would be helpful, and I've already talked with Mr. Sable about this, is that in the dead of winter, that we have further discussion on how we want to fine-tune this process. We certainly have learned from this experience. We've learned about unintended consequences, but that's a discussion for another day. Today, we have some very worthy applicants that will be looking forward to the receipt of these funds. So would someone like to make that motion?
I move the award of the 2026.
Oh, go ahead.
I move the award of the 2026 charitable gambling funds.
Moved by Juniman, seconded by Lee, the motion to approve the proposed charitable gambling awards for 2026. Mr. Councilmember Lee, did you have a question too?
Just a comment, Mayor. I just want to take a moment to thank all of the community folks who have made this possible. These funds were made possible, I just wanted to call them out really quick, by charitable contributions from the Hill Murray Fathers Club at Crooked Pines, Hill Murray Fathers Club, Foxhole Bingo Lounge, Hill Murray's Mothers Club at Five Ace Tavern, East Metro Stars Youth Hockey Association Buffalo Wild Wing, Maplewood Moose Lodge number 963, Merrick's Companies at Bleachers, Merrick's Companies, Inc. at the Doghouse, Roseville Youth Hockey Association at McCarran's Grill and Pubs, White Bear Avenue Business Association at Unison Restaurant, and White Bear Lakes Lions Club at Acapulco. And I call these folks out because this is the partnership in our community. You make it possible for this to happen. So thank you for allowing these organizations to take part in your business and allowing that space.
And they will use the money wisely. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to the on-sale intoxicating liquor and Sunday sales license for Taco Shop. Ms. Sint, this is your topic for tonight.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So tonight we have, as you said, an on-sale intoxicating liquor and Sunday sales license for the Taco Shop, Maplewood. This is going to be located at 1275 County Road D East, Suite 105. It was formerly the Subway. And as is practice and required, a background investigation was conducted on the owner and manager, Angel Ruales Castellano, and nothing was identified that would prohibit the issuance of the liquor license. Lieutenant Hemke did meet with the owner earlier today, going over general expectations of service of alcohol, about eliminating the sale of underage alcohol to underage persons, and just general security, as they usually do. And so City Council approval is required. As a step towards the liquor license, the applicant will still need to fulfill all of their requirements with building and fire and health before we will be able to actually issue the license. But council approval is just one of those steps that we are getting under the belt, if possible, tonight. And so at that, we are looking for a motion to approve the issuance of the on-sale intoxicating liquor and Sunday sales license for the Taco Shop Maplewood at 1275 County Road D East, Suite 105. And the applicant is here for questions if you would like to have him come up.
Thank you, Ms. Sint. Would you like to join us, please? Can you introduce yourselves to the council?
Good evening. My name is Inti Martinez Aleman. I'm legal counsel for the Taco Shop Maplewood LLC. And to my right is Angel Reyes Castellano, the owner and operator of the Taco Shop, forthcoming. Mr. Reyes Castellano has been living in the state of Minnesota for over 2 decades, operating restaurants from super small, tiny operations to very large restaurants all throughout the Twin Cities, suburbia, and inner city. So this is one of the other restaurants that he's expanding to. And the Taco Shop currently operates specifically in St. Louis Park, and then Fiesta Cancun is another restaurant that he has, and many others that he operates throughout the Twin Cities. And we're here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Council members? Councilmember Juniman.
Has this gentleman dispensed liquor before in his establishments?
Yes.
Okay, and was he successful?
Yes.
How many, shall I say, slip-ups did he have? Do we know?
None that were reported or found by the investigation.
Thank you, because we are probably a little above average in being not very nice if people have to come in here and beg for mercy because they served alcohol to an underage person. We really discourage it.
Understood. We had a very stern lecture by Lieutenant Hemke.
Good for him.
Just kidding. Not stern, not a lecture, just a very good professional conversation.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I motion to approve the on-sale intoxicating liquor and Sunday sale license for Taco Shop Maplewood LLC, doing business as the Taco Shop Maplewood, 1275 County Road D East.
Second.
Moved by Cave, seconded by Villavicencio. The motion as outlined in our packet. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you and welcome to Maplewood. We're
Muchas
excited to
gracias.
have you
Buenas
here.
noches.
Moving on, we have a design review and parking waiver resolution for Seven Brews Coffee. Ms. Parr, you are the presenter on this.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Yes, this item before you this evening is potentially going to be located at 2982 White Bear Avenue North. If you look on the overhead and you see the dark red, or I should say the highlighted red area, it's a distinctly more red area there, that is the entire parcel where Half Price Books sits. Next to that, just to the south, is Michael's. So basically straight downward. They are two separate lots. So when we talk about it, we're talking about a just over 2-acre lot where Half Price Books is. If you're familiar with that area, you probably know, I call it a carve out, but there's a little area where there's kind of a wonky little parking lot there. And when you drive by there, you will notice that there usually is no car sitting in that. And so as we are seeing more and more in our community development circles, when we have empty spaces, we're trying to utilize those in a more innovative way in places where it makes sense and is appropriate. So we think this might be one of those, and we look to hear your feedback on that. The site right now, as I said, has 34 parking stalls. Those will go away as a part of this. We don't believe that they are needed and used. The ownership group, as well as others, have indicated they're not in use typically. So, and there's other opportunities in other spots that they can park to make up for that. As we move forward, we will be asking for the approval of the design review and the parking waiver. As far as our 2040 comp plan, it is guided to commercial, which is appropriate for what they are asking. Zoning, same situation. Business commercial is what it is zoned, which is appropriate for this type of use. This is going to be a made-to-order beverage business. You see these occasionally different brands have these kiosks. It's kind of a unique one because of the fact that when you pull up, there's no speakers to create noise, but instead when you pull up, there is actually a barista that greets you in one of two lanes, gets your order and brings it out to you, which is kind of a different type of offering, and we're seeing this expanding. They exist already in different areas of the country, and they're expanding in our marketplace. So along with 3 others, we're told. So this is a good opportunity for us. The site is about the building is about 510 square feet, and it is situated in the parking lot. You can see there, as we discussed, in the top. It is about 388 square feet, which is a remote cooler and trash, which are integrated nearby. And a lot of care is taken to try to make that feel like it's part of the site from a design layout, and you can see that when we get to the elevations for the site. As you can see, the site would be accessed off Lydia Avenue. When you pull in from the street there, you will pull over to the right and go through one of 2 drive lanes. There's also short-term parking there. When it comes to setbacks, it meets all the setbacks except to the south, and that will be corrected at a later time when they come in. Prior to the building permit, they need to actually have a lot line adjustment. This is going to be made a separate parcel as a part of that, and then that issue goes away as a part of that. There's also an easement opportunity to correct that situation, but we're told by the applicant that the plan is to actually subdivide it, which will work out, that'll work out great. It meets all the other setbacks. As far as the elevations and the materials, it is a 1-story building. It has a pitched roof that's angled there. It's about 19.8 feet at its tallest point. As you can see, the materials and colors that are shown there, they have a dark gray, shale brown, and Pacific blue. These are kind of hallmarks, so to speak, of these buildings throughout the country where they're located as well, with the metal trim and the framing in a sandstone color. The landscaping, the proposed landscaping plan shows 13 trees will be removed. 6 new trees will be planted. There is a requirement to have additional landscaping installed throughout. They'll be working with our environmental staff. They have come in and talked about what that would look like, but we want to work it a little bit more before we actually approve that, and we feel confident we'll get there prior to any kind of building permit. As far as parking requirements, this particular type of use doesn't actually have a parking requirement, but if we were to take a similar type use and break it out based on the square footage, it'd need to have 2.5 spaces. In this case, they actually have a fair amount more than that they are proposing. They'll have 8 spaces. And as you know from pulling in, getting your drink, there isn't really anticipation that there's going to be any parking. But we always think ahead, and if we need it, we want to have it. So it'll be there in the future as it's needed. The project will remove, as I said, 34 existing parking stalls, and so they're requesting the waiver for the overall site. In relation to that, we don't see any issues in relation to that, but we want to call those out so you're aware. That's really what the waiver is for. As far as public review, we sent notices to people within 500 feet. We had no comments that were received. We took this to the Community Design Review Board on October 21st. They recommended approval and had no requested changes. And with that, we are recommending approval as well for the design review and the parking waiver that's requested. And with that, I'll turn it over. We have the applicant here in the audience. If the council, the mayor would like to ask any questions of them.
Okay. Do you want to join us, the applicant? Good evening and welcome. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Thank you. I'm Andrew Commerce, and thank you. The director did a great job presenting, and we've really enjoyed working with the staff on this application. Our family has owned the property for 25 years, and before that, for 6 years, in the early 90s, I drove by the site every day on my way to school. The Bruin-Trupp farm is a really kind of interesting and really beautiful legacy there that we've always been a big fan of. I have pictures from the Historic Society on my computer that I'll share and make sure that everyone has access to, because that's a, we think, really kind of fun legacy of the site. Seven Brew merged this year as the ideal partner for the opportunity with that horseshoe corner of our parking lot. There's a fast-growing coffee brand recently, just this week, covered in a Wall Street Journal article. Globe Brands is the franchisee, and they're a 25-year-old group that has been doing various franchises throughout the nation. 350 locations, over 2,000 employees. So they're a highly qualified group that has the exclusive right to open these Seven Brew concepts throughout the Twin Cities. And so we feel really honored to be one of their first locations here in the Twin Cities. Seven Brew itself, as the director mentioned, is very person-to-person oriented. They're kind of a youthful, human-first brand, really grounded approach, and as she mentioned, no intercom, no speaker box, just this kind of cheerful barista, serving you. So it also does not have food. This is a drink-based only operation, so kind of keeps a cleaner environment around the site. We're also, working with the existing tenants. The director mentioned Half Price and Michael's to ensure a seamless complement is achieved there. Coffee and books and crafts. So thank you for considering our proposal to add value to the city of Maplewood. I'll stay here if there are any questions.
Thank you. We have a question from Councilmember Villavicencio.
My question was, is there any in Minnesota yet?
There is one up in Bemidji that actually surprisingly beat the Twin Cities to get open, and it has been a huge success.
Oh, good to hear. And also just comment, I can totally foresee the seniors in the area loving this, so get ready for that.
Great, yeah, I know that they enjoy serving folks of all ages, so that'll work.
Wonderful. Any, Councilmember Lee?
Thank you, Mayor. I am a little jealous that we were not the first. I've heard many great things about your company, and I've never had it because every time I go, there's always a long line. And I anticipate that's going to be what's going to happen too when you guys open, which is really good. I do have a question about the queuing though in that parking lot. I anticipate there's going to be long lines, and are there any particular plans on how to handle that particular item? It's a good problem to have, but given the lot itself and from what I've seen, I just want to make sure we're prepared for it.
Yeah, I believe that staff kind of raised and asked about that question as well, and working with the franchisee and their design team, actually made some adjustments that are reflected now in the site plan you're looking at, which was to kind of pivot the orientation of where that kind of serving window was. So instead of having that on the top of the plan, where you'd arrive at it first, they pivoted that around to the bottom, so that stacking could occur around the entire horseshoe. And then maybe more significant, they added a second lane as well, so it is a 2-lane path around. In addition to that, we'll just make sure that we're really careful about directional signage to ensure that folks aren't stacking or taking time in front of any of the parking spaces for the other businesses.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Ms. Parr, would you like to weigh in on the stacking of the cars?
I think Mr. Commerce did a good job explaining it. It has evolved, and we feel comfortable with where it is today, so thank you for drawing attention to that. It's one of those things where it's a different type of business, and so while it may not need so much parking, if it's doing well, which we anticipate it will have stacking. And the 2 lanes should make a big difference in that, as well as changing it so it's oriented on the opposite side, and that pivot gives us some extra space to allow people to move through without having stacking go out and impacting half-price books, or Michael's for that matter. That was a concern of ours initially.
Thank you. Councilmember Cave.
Just a comment, I want to thank you for bringing it to the city of Maplewood and also with staff. I know in Birch Run, we had a lot of parking space, a lot of extra, and we're like, what are we going to do with it? So this is really out-of-the-box thinking, really smart use of that parking lot, especially at the end, because you're right, I go to half-price books a lot, and it's never full. It just, people come and go. It's not somewhere where they sit. So I think, bringing this and with our change of our city with all the parking requirements, I think this is a great fit. Thank you.
Councilmember Lee, did you have one more thing?
Yep, just a detail. So it's not a order on the other side and then drive around to pick up, is it? They drive completely around, order, and pick up at the same spot, right?
I think that it's one of those ordering options where they can be flexible, because they will have individuals who actually are on foot, able to kind of move to where the order is best taken.
Okay.
So I believe it's an operational question that they adjust to find the optimal spot, let's say.
All right. I look forward to trying it.
No other questions? And council members, there's a motion. Would someone like to make it?
Motion to approve a design review and parking waiver resolution for a drive-through coffee stand at 2982 White Bear Avenue North, subject to certain conditions of approvals.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Ginneman. The motion is written in our packet. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Welcome to Maplewood. We're glad that you're going to be here.
Thank you. I know they're excited, and we are.
Council members, we have concluded our agenda for tonight. Make sure that tomorrow you thank a veteran for their service. None of us would be here, and we wouldn't have the country that we do without our veterans. So please thank them. And with that, council members, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, and thank you to our Boy Scouts out there. We really appreciate you.